I can't stop looking at your wee face. It just makes me smile. Oh, okay. I get so cheesy here.
Hello and welcome to the Rewrite Your Story community. This podcast was created to inspire others to take power back into their own lives. I'm here to share the stories and tools that I have learned through my own life experiences and my guests as well to help you rewrite your story forever. This podcast is best paired with an open mind and a journal, so let's get comfy and dive right in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rewrite Your Story podcast. For those of you who are watching online, you will see that we have a beautiful guest with us this week. Danika, for those who are listening who don't know who you are, I'd love if you could just give them a little intro into who you are and what you do.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I am an embodiment coach in training where we've met through the Hungry for Happiness program. And I'm really passionate about getting in the body. So my work revolves around somatic practices such as breathwork. I'm a breathwork facilitator. I'm really passionate about movement and about getting in tune with how you're feeling inside and how you can come closer to meeting your own needs and to getting in connection with your intuition. For a long time, I've just felt really disconnected from my body. So all of my practices are revolving around getting in touch with your body, getting in connection with your emotions, connecting with the earth and source. And I'm really passionate also about embodiment of the polarities of the feminine and the masculine energies that we carry, and how to get into more of a healthy feminine and more of a healthy masculine.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. And you guys have asked me, so many things about this course that I'm doing, and some episodes that I've had previously, with Shauna and with Steph, you guys were asking to get to know a bit more behind the things that we were talking about, and the energetic work, and especially when Shauna and I spoke about the masculine feminine energy a few weeks ago. You guys were asking so many questions about it. And I know we touched on it a little in that episode, but given, the work that Danika does, I was just like, this is the person to teach you guys more of this. And she really caught my eye when I first started this program. We have, like, when we're on Zoom, I've got all the squares open and you see everybody sitting there. And she would just be so in tune with her body. Like, I'd watch her in these little squares and she's just like, while the lecture's going on, she's sitting or she's moving around and she's really like feeling what was being said. And it really caught my eye. Like, it genuinely captivated me. And the more I stalked her a little on Instagram, let's face it, I'm going to admit it. She already knows I'm a bit of a creep anyway, so it's fine. But I gave her a good stalking and I was just like, wow, like, this is the kind of where I want to get to. Like, embodiment is the same kind of area that's came up for me when I explore my niche, and maybe more in like my health story, which I've shared on here. But I really want to get to that point of learning more about somatic work and breath work and these energetic states. But until I have that knowledge, until I get there, I want to bring on people that genuinely inspire me and who I learn from. And that's why I've brought this beautiful human on to talk with you guys today. And she hinted a bit on already what we're going to talk about, which is a bit more of that masculine and feminine energy, and kind of how that's journey, even with your own experiences, Danika, has led you to do this work. So I guess that's maybe a good place to start. Is you'd mentioned you had felt disconnected from your body, and that's what brought you to doing this kind of work. So how, if you were to try to describe feeling disconnected to your body, because I feel like a lot of us, when we are disconnected from our body, we don't even realize we are. Mm-hmm. So what were the kinds of things that came up for you to realize that you, oh crap, like, I'm disconnected? Like, what would come up from you when you started this journey?
Yeah. So mostly just not knowing, not being able to make decisions. I felt like I was always seeking externally to reaffirm my truth. And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really looking at myself for my own answers. And it felt like I was looking to avoid or disconnect, disassociate,
Mm.
just using a bunch of coping mechanisms to numb myself out. And I noticed that I I couldn't, if someone asked me, how are you feeling? I had a hard time even being like, well, I don't know how I'm feeling. I
Mm.
was so disconnected that I couldn't even feel for myself. And when you start opening up those channels, like emotions start flooding through, and
Yeah.
that's for me how I've come to be more in connection with myself and honor myself and my own needs, and um and the process of like not giving a shit what people think about me and just moving my body the way I want to move it. Like you said, you were seeing me, being in my own element and doing my own thing. Well, that's because I I no longer compromise my fear of judgment of what people may or may not think of me, but it's like I feel like moving my body right now, so I'm going to move it.
Yeah. I love that. I'm no longer going to compromise the fear of judgment.
Yeah.
Oh, I literally like, I don't know if you can see, I've got like goosebumps in my hair stand up my arm. As soon as you said that, I'm no longer going to compromise the fear of judgment. Oh, that is beautiful. I think that's something a lot of people would feel. And when I say a lot of people, like the collective we, the common we, you know, we want to be liked, we want to be loved, we want, to have that connection with other people. That's just part of being human. But we can neglect ourselves and neglect who we are, what we want in the process. And like you even said, don't even know who we are because we're using these like negative coping strategies and numbing. Could you give an example of those kinds of like numbing or what those negative kind of coping strategies are, just so listeners kind of can
Yeah.
plant the seed and have them think about it if it's something they've never thought about before?
100%. So things that I've dealt with were like binge eating. So just numbing myself with food. And it's interesting because when you're doing this, it's like you're not even tasting your food. And I've had moments where like I
Mm.
can't even control myself. I'm like, I should probably stop right now. But it's just, it just keeps on going and going. This can happen with like binge watching TV shows,
Mm.
movies. Oftentimes, I've noticed myself going towards those those shows that bring out emotion in me because I didn't want to feel the emotion for myself. So I was kind of living it through
Yeah.
these characters and also kind of like imagining a different world for myself
Like that
where
escape.
yeah, it's exactly it. It's escaping the reality that we're currently living in.
Mm-hmm.
So, it could also be drugs, alcohol, sex. Like there's so many ways that people use to escape reality. And
Yeah.
those are the coping mechanisms because oftentimes we're just looking for an energy shift. And the way that we get it is the way that we've always kind of resorted to. And there's nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to that. And that's what there's oftentimes a lot of shame that gets attached to it. And it becomes
Mm-hmm.
this cycle, right? That we keep on shaming ourselves for doing it and then doing it more and then shaming ourselves. And
Vicious
so,
cycle.
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Because it even brought up some stuff for me when you were saying that I'd forgot about. And it's like, for anybody listening, like this is just something to think about. If you notice that you're mindlessly scrolling on Instagram, like 2 hours,
Mhm.
3 hours have went by, and you're like, what am I doing with my day? Like maybe you're just not wanting to feel something, or you're trying to avoid a certain thing. And there was a beautiful thing that Mark Grove said ages ago on one of his podcast episodes, and it was about doing the difficult things first. And I started to implement that in my day, because I would have been someone that's like, oh no, I don't want to do that. Okay, because I don't want to do it, I will numb and check out and get busy
Yeah.
being non-productive, get busy doing things to just distract from the thing that I don't want to do, or don't want to talk about, or want to avoid. And it was a really tough lesson, but then I found so much beauty in that battle. Like it was
Mm.
hard to get there. And I think I struggled, and this is like with the energies we talked about, like I embodied a lot of heavy, strong masculine energy. So when it came to feeling, and my masculine was my protector, it served me well. It got me through a lot of shit. But when it came to doing the difficult thing first, I'm like, I don't want to deal with the feelings. I don't want to deal with the sensitive part. And that's why I got uncomfortable. So I had a big struggle with my feminine from being such a man. Like
Mhm.
how, from what
And
you've learned, like how would that come about, or like what, or like what's been your experience with your journey from the numbing
mm,
in, like with the feminine and the masculine?
yeah. I want to also add there about your masculine. Like you said, I love that you are able to name it and know that it was there to just protect you.
Yeah.
And then we see kind of like the emotions and the stuff that you may not have really wanted to deal with as being this like feminine energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I've seen the protector of this masculine controller wanting to have control over the situations, but it's like holding too much of a tight grip. So my feminine kind of came out from a relationship that I was in where I felt really trapped. I felt like my feminine had no place to be fluid and be creative. And the feminine really wants to just flow and be who she is fully in full expression. The feminine wants to be in tune with all of her senses and dance and honor her body, honor her emotions. She wants to play and be creative. She wants to speak her needs, speak her truth. She wants to express herself. And and then the but the and then this is like the healthier part of the feminine, right? So when I did kind of get out of this relationship where I felt like she had no place, it was like this world had opened up for me. And automatically, I was like, nobody is going to tame me right now because the feminine doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want to be tamed. But then that kind of tips off. It could have the opportunity to tip off into more distorted feminine, where this is where the like the strong masculine comes in to hold this container and to have these boundaries around her so that she feels safe to be able to explore herself, but that yes, I
What's
see.
what's distorted feminine? Because I've hear
Okay.
of like the positive feminine energies, like you've just talked
Yes.
about, like that embodiment, the play. But I'd
Hmm.
love to know a bit more about what distorted feminine is. Because I've heard
Yeah.
about the negative masculine and the positive masculine, but I haven't really heard much about the negative female, or the distorted female
Yeah.
feminine energy. If you could explain that a little.
So we see that the feminine is really passionate, but when the feminine becomes distorted, she can become like possessive and
Mm.
jealous um and spiteful or mean or like we all have our different versions of what the distorted feminine looks like.
Looks like, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, basically just just like the distorted masculine would be too much of a controller.
Yeah.
Right? The masculine wants to be this like stable, rooted ground to hold this feminine, but at the same time, you don't want the masculine to become this overbearing, controlling,
Yeah.
possessive type of energy.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Does
get that.
that
And then,
answer?
yeah, it makes complete sense. And before I interrupted you, you were saying about hot, and that you explaining that also now makes sense. Like when you were talking with your hands, anybody watching on YouTube, you were kind of talking about when the female energy gets distorted, the masculine would come in and protect and kind of look around that. So that explanation now makes like complete sense to me. So thank you.
Yeah, because it's about finding that balance, right? If you're totally in your feminine and you're just going with the flow and doing all of these things that your soul wants, well, maybe you're not having enough discipline to actually get work done. And
Mm-hmm.
so, it's great to take baths all day and be in nature and connect with all of your senses, but you also want to be able to allocate some time to do certain work or to bring things into physicality, right? The feminine is like this creation mode, but then to be able to bring it into material,
Mm-hmm.
you want to have that masculine come through and actually do the work.
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And if any of you are listening on like Spotify or whatever, get out, go over to YouTube, actually watch this human as she talks. I feel like you will get so much more. I love you talk with your hands like I do,
I do.
but you say
Yeah.
some of these visuals, you're talking about it and like you're moving your hands, and I'm like, it just makes more sense to me. So
Yes.
stop. If you're on Spotify, stop now and go click on the other link and get your butt on over to YouTube. Just saying, it'll make it. You'll trust me. It'll be better. Trust me. Okay. Just
Yeah, I'm a big hand talker. I'm French, so this is what the French do.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful, and that makes so much sense to me when you say that. And like when we talk about feminine, masculine, and feminine energy. If you want to know the basics of it, surely head on over to my episode with Shauna. But I don't want to waste Danika's time by going into what's feminine, what's masculine, and breaking it down, because I want to get you guys to hear some of her knowledge on kind of the feminine. I keep mixing them together. Well, they kind of do go together. Maybe that's a new thing. Am I just going to say feminine energy? And that's just what they're called when they're together. That's what keeps coming out of my mouth. Oh my God. I keep trying to stop myself from saying that. But I want you guys to get to know a bit about these two energetics in a deeper level. So if you want to hear the beginners, head on over to that episode. But this is a bit more of that next level up on that knowledge. And when we talk about masculine and feminine, we're not talking about males and females. Every human out there has both of these energies within them. Some people just can really live heavy in one. Some people live heavy in the other. And I want to bring Danika here to help you guys figure out where you're at, but also figure out how you can marry the two together and dig deeper into these spaces. I'd love to know if any of you do feel like you identify heavy in one energy over the other. Let us know. I would say I'm very much a man. I'm very, very, very masculine, but I'm in the process of getting better with my feminine energy and embracing it. But let us know kind of where you're at. I'd love to know what you guys are feeling, and also come the end of the episode if you're noticing other areas start to come up. That'd be really cool. But I'll hand it back to Danika because I again went on a little rant. But I'd love to know more about, so in your journey you were discovering these energies. Like for me to hear that you did have these blocks mind boggles me, because I watch you now as we mentioned, and I'm just like, how did she get from there to this? Like, what was that journey like? And like, yeah, if you could tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah. I wasn't connected to my body, as I said. I wasn't connected to my emotions. And it was really moving from this space of, how do I say, of looking for external factors to deem my worthiness,
Mm-hmm.
to then just being like, fuck it, you know, I'm I'm gonna do whatever I want to be doing. And it started out with just little things. And for me, one of those little things was discovering what I actually like to do. Because oftentimes I notice when we're in relationships, and this is what had happened, you kind of lose yourself a little bit, and you get enmeshed and you forget what you actually love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of these things was I love to listen to music. And so I decided to start I was going to a bar at like Tuesday nights, okay? And I don't drink. So I would have my water bottle and my journal, and I would go sit at this bar and listen to live music every Tuesday. And just like that, that was doing something for me that I loved to do. And shortly, like doing this, I started kind of feeling my body open up. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where I started dancing. And I was never a dancer, I never took any dancing lessons, but I just started feeling the music and breathing with it. And breath is so feminine too. It's
Yeah.
like the movement of energy in the body. So I started breathing and moving my body to the rhythm of my breath and feeling the music inside of my body. And so that for me was really the beginning of it. And then kind of adding in those little parts here and there of, ooh, I really love being in nature. I'm going to spend more time in nature. And how can I enhance my experience to a point where I'm like in my body rather than being in my mind? And
Yeah.
that was like the biggest thing, right? Because when we're in our minds, this is where we're constantly just thinking about what is everybody thinking of me, or what I have to do next or
Yeah.
whatnot. But the feminine really embodies the present moment. She is in tune with all of her senses. So for anyone listening who's not completely aware of what that means, tuning into your senses, well, you have your sight, your smell, your taste, your hearing, and your feeling. And you also have your intuitive sixth sense. But if you even think about the word sensuality and you break it down, it's senses. It's sensuality, right? Senses,
Mm-hmm.
tuning into your senses. So,
Sensuality.
yeah,
Yeah.
how can you become more sensual in your whole life, right? How can you
Ooh.
enhance your experience just a little bit more when you're eating food and really like taking that time to smell it and look at it, and then let it be on your tongue, and notice how your body reacts to it. And then, you
Mm.
know, being out in nature and smelling nature and looking at all of the different colors.
Literally stopping to smell the roses.
Exactly. And oftentimes, like even when I go in nature, I notice so many people in nature, but they're not actually there. You know, they're
Yeah.
like maybe they're on their phone or they're just talking or whatnot. And I've definitely done that, you know, going in nature and the whole time I'm in my head. But you
Yeah.
need to actually you need to make that conscious decision to,
You know.
okay, let's stop for a minute just taking a breath and feeling your support, feeling the ground under your body, feeling the temperature on your skin. And just noticing where you're feeling any physical contractions in your body and where you can allow yourself to soften just a little bit more. So I've found in my own experience, by reminding myself to come back to my senses, that's where I kind of invite my feminine in. So when I was, dancing to live music, it wasn't just, it was a full body experience. It was me being in my body, feeling it, breathing it, and being with it. Yeah.
I love that. That's beautiful. That's so nice. And like, it's something that I've been trying to do too. I was definitely one of those people, especially because I lived so much in the masculine, maybe more so the distorted masculine. I would definitely find myself going on walks because I'm like, get the steps in, let's just walk, let's just move. But when I'm on my walk, I was in my head, and like Tony Robbins says, if you're in your head, you're dead. And I was just like thinking of work, thinking of things I've got to do and get done, and like that helped with getting my pace all choppy. And now when I go for walks, like my boyfriend always giggles at me because I shift his awareness from that structured mind of chaos and working the distorted masculine to the more of the feminine energy. I'll look at like shells, especially at the moment. There's so many shells out, and they're like glisten, they're purple. I live in Vancouver. We have the beautiful Stanley Park and a gorgeous like wall, the sea wall they call it, that we go around, and we'll be on a walk, and I like look at the shell, like look at the color, oh my god, and I like pick it up and I'm like, look at it, and then I like put it right in his face, and I'm like, nature did this, look at that, look what nature did. And he's like, yes, Amy. And I'm like, no, but look. And he's like, oh, and there's like a bit of blue, there's like a bit of gray in there too. And I'm like, right. And like he'll stop for a second. We literally just look at the color of the shells. And I do that too if I see like a bird feather. They blow my mind because I'm like, how's this like shiny and like iridescent almost, and it's a feather from a freaking bird, like what the hell, it blows my mind. Like that's your homework from me. Danika might give you different homework later on, but I want you guys to literally start picking up stuff when you're outside that's like safe to pick up, obviously, and look at it. Just look at it for a second. Like,
yeah,
look at the color, look at the texture, and think for a second, nature made this. Not man made this. This doesn't have a print on the bottom to say made in China. This is not something bought in the store. This is something physically out in the world. Yeah. Look at it. Like if you have a favorite plant, if you are someone who's into your plants, a lot of people are into plants these days. If you're into plant, literally look at it for a second, feel it, like acknowledge how much water it takes to survive, what it needs to survive, what little things it needs to survive. Like us as humans, we need quite a lot, but some plants they're just chilling. They need nothing. Like, think about that for a second and just sit with that thing. But I want you to, when you do it, just think nature did this. Nature did this. Think about it and let me know what it was that like caught your eye. If you're out in the walk, was it like, are you like me? Is it bird feathers and shells? Was it mountains? Was it the sunset? Let me know what it was that come up for you, because I'd love to know. But take a sec, think, shit, nature did this, and appreciate that moment. And, Danika has some courses and things coming up down the line where she will be going into this sensory experience in a lot more detail. So I'll definitely bring that up. And come the end of the episode, we'll share where you can find her stuff. But if this is something that intrigues you and you want to know more about it, this is why I brought this beautiful human here, because she has the info. She can take you guys on this magical journey. Oh yeah, I'm excited for them to learn more from you and for me to learn more from you too.
Yeah, I love that you did that too. Just like looking at the color of the shell, and I think that's a great exercise to start doing. Like I said, it's baby steps to get there, and it's an everyday thing. It doesn't just happen and now I'm fully in my feminine all the time. No, it's every day I wake up, and, this morning I woke up and I was in my bed and I just started, touching my skin and just feeling how soft it is and like all over, and just being grateful for this body and taking that time to breathe with it and be with it, like this body that we've been given, that, maybe not always appreciating it. And I know that I've definitely been there. And it's like, how amazing would that feel to be in your body and just love every single part of it, and, and just feel at home within your body. Because I think that that's where it kind of leads to, when you have this healthy feminine and this healthy masculine, then you feel at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. Man, you're getting me.
Aww. Sister.
Oh, girl. I think I don't want to steal attention from the episode, but if anyone's listening and got a little like emotional, like I did when Danika was just talking there, like a lot of you guys listening, if you've been listening to my podcast from the beginning, a lot of my struggles with my body and my mind, and given that my body was taken from me for a long time, I struggled with it. And then when I had health issues, I used to get mad at my body because I couldn't trust it. And it's a journey. It's a journey. But I'm definitely getting there. I'm in such a place that is way better than what it was. And the more I've started to appreciate my body, the more it started to serve me. Like there was a post I put up on Instagram ages ago, and it was saying that your body can handle almost anything. It's your mind you have to convince. And I realized that a lot of the issues I was holding back with my body, where, I felt like I didn't trust it. I didn't feel safe. It wasn't so much my body, but it was the mental stuff that was associated to my body. And once I started to literally thank my body for taking me physically everywhere I've needed to be and doing the things I've needed it to do, things started to shift. Like it genuinely changed just by bringing awareness to that part of us and embodying that divine feminine energy, and taking that moment to appreciate yourself. Like that's kind of the next step, I guess. I appreciate nature and the things around you, yes, but appreciating this little, as I like to call it, your meat wagon, or your meat suit, or whatever you want to call it, like your body. There's another word for it too, I guess.
Yeah.
But you, whatever age you are right now, listening to this podcast, you've lived your whole life. You've went through everything you've ever experienced. Your body has taken you through it all, good, bad, and ugly, around the world, wherever you've been. It's done this with you and for you. Like we just gotta, like you say, like about the numbing and stuff, like we've got to treat it better. Like would you, for people that drive cars, if you have a diesel engine, if you put petrol in that thing, you're gonna fuck that car up. You're gonna fuck that shit up. I'm sure some of you've even done that. I know a few people who have. So when we look at our bodies, if you've got a pretty good hefty diesel engine in there, why are you putting petrol in? Why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing it? Like we have to bring awareness to this meat suit that we're in, full of blood pipes, which are your veins, by the way. If you don't know what blood pipes are, that's my word for veins. And like acknowledge what it's doing. Like the fact that you have a heart that beats and pumps stuff around you and makes you alive. You breathe in oxygen. Even cooler, trees make oxygen. We breathe in stuff that trees go put it out in the air. That's just like, it's our bodies do so much for us subconsciously that we don't even know, and we don't even treat it too good a lot of the time. But like if we bring awareness to it literally keeping us alive, surely we would treat it better. We treat your best friends, the people you love, well, but you won't have those people if you don't treat you well. Like you need to be here. And I don't know, it feels like a good point to me, but I'd love to get you guys who are listening right now just to take a second to get into your body. And I know some of you may have never took a moment to get into your body. Meditation probably feels weird to some of you. I know when I first tried to do this stuff, I got so distracted. But breath work was a really beautiful way for me to get into that space. Now, I am not the breathwork facilitator here. Danika is. So I'd love she and I talked beforehand about doing something with you. And I feel like this is a good space to do it where we're talking about you guys getting into your body. I'd love for you guys, if you're driving, please do not do this piece. I want you to be safe. But if you're able to pull over, if you're watching something or journaling or at the same time, like just take a second, turn it off, pull over to the side of the road, do whatever you've got to do. Take a little second, and in a sec, I'll get Danika to kind of start walking us through something here. But I think this would be, a nice little moment to see what getting into your body even feels like. So yeah, it's a good place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anyone who has a hard time meditating, just like Amy, you said, the breath work is, I find, such a good way to kind of get there quicker. People will say that breath work is kind of like meditation on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are different breaths that you can do for different feelings. Say you're feeling stressed and anxious, you can do certain breaths to calm down your nervous system and to bring you into a state where you feel more centered and grounded. And then if you're feeling dissociated and numb, there are certain breaths that you can do to activate your system and to move energy around, to get that energy shift.
And what kind of breath do you think is a good place to just get you grounded, especially from like a beginner? Like, and could you walk us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was thinking just a breath that I love to do, that I do every day, and that helps to calm my system and bring me back to this place of groundedness, is a 4-part box breath. So the reason why it's called a box breath is because if you visualize a box, it's like a big square, and all 4 parts are equal. You breathe in, then you hold your breath, then you breathe out, and you hold your breath at the bottom. And so this is great for anyone who is just starting doing breath work. It's a breath that you can do at any point in time in your day. You could do it while you're doing work, or even when if you're having a stressful conversation and you just kind of do it silently to yourself, or even when you just wake up or before you go to bed. So if you would like to join us in this breathing, you're welcome to first find a spot that feels comfortable for you. You can do this laying down or sitting up. And if you'd like to close your eyes, you can do that. If you want to keep your eyes open, I'll invite you to just keep your gaze low and take a moment to feel your support. So maybe that's the ground under your feet. If you're laying down, just noticing all the places where your body touches your support. And I'll be guiding you through this, so you're in good hands. Just taking a deep breath in your nose to start. Then open your mouth to clear it out. Now breathe in your nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for 4, 3, 2, 1. Out your nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. 4. Pause for 4. Out your nose. 4. Pause. 4. Inhale. 4. Pause. 4. Out your nose. 4. Pause. 4. Inhale, belly, ribs, all the way to your heart. Pause. 4. Out. 4. Pause. 4. Full breath in. 4. Pause for 4. Clearing out. 4. Pause. 4. Last round in. 4. Pause. 4. Out for 4. Pause. 4. Now take a deep breath in. Open your mouth and sigh it out. And take another deep breath in and hold your breath. See if you can relax any muscles around your jaw or your eyes or your shoulders. And keep on holding. And when you're ready to release, let go. And just taking a moment for your breath to come in and out from your nose naturally. And take this time right now to notice all the sensations that are coming up for you. And see if you can just have your awareness there without judging. Just being with your body. Noticing where your breath travels. And keeping that awareness inwards, maybe you can start to open your eyes and look at your space. Look at the different colors. And I would love to know how that made you feel. You're welcome to drop it in the comments. Just let me know if you felt any type of shift or expansion or whatnot. And Amy, just curious to know how that was for you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That was beautiful. Dude, I've been like full goosebumps this whole thing. Oh man. I don't know what it is for me, but every time I do breath work, especially after I've not done it for a while. As soon as I open my eyes, color is just like a next level of what it was. And it's always typically one color that pops out. I did a breathwork session the other day, and it was yellows. Anything in that yellow kind of realm was so strong to me. And right now I have a lot of teal in my apartment, and everything kind of in that teal blue realm is like exploding right now. It's so clear. I wonder why it's always color, but the colors change, whatever one that decides to pop for me. But even during that session, doing it reminded me that I haven't checked in with my body in a little while. Like I was aware of areas of my body that I haven't been aware of for a little while. And just it felt very safe when you were talking. Your voice is so soothing. Like you do well in this space. Like if I want to do like an embodiment piece, like just listening to you talk was just, it calmed me. Like sometimes when I do these things, I'll go for stuff that has like really good music or whatever, but I didn't feel I even needed that with you, because it was just like listening to you what got me already focused and in that piece. Yeah, it was really nice and relaxing and safe. And yeah, colors, like I didn't think I had this much blue in my apartment, and I'm looking all around the place and I'm like noticing tiny bits of it. It's really cool.
Yeah, well, it's gotten your senses heightened, right? And you're also paying attention more to the colors or to everything around you. And oftentimes we don't even pay attention. I've had moments where, you know, if I've been go for a little bit and then I just stop and look around, I'm like, shit, my apartment's a mess. And I had no idea, or something like that, right? And it's because we're not even looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you for giving me that moment, like to look, I guess.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm intrigued to know how you guys felt about that. Like I'm still like crazy goosebumps all over me. I'm so tingly, like you said, just like that next level of awareness has definitely came around. Yeah, let us know how you feel, because that feels freaking awesome. And if you want to get more breath work, she your lady, go check her out. That's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I guess doing things like this, would this fall more under the divine feminine, I guess? Is this where that falls under?
Yeah, I would say so. I mentioned earlier, the breath is like it's like a movement, right? And the feminine is all about that movement. So when you get into also conscious, continuous, cyclical breath patterns, those are very feminine as well. And that's why if any of you felt emotion come up, just want to let you know that that's completely natural and that can absolutely happen. I have a video on my Instagram where I do a 3-part breath, and I've had people message me and say like I was bawling after that, and it was I think 4 minutes. It doesn't take long at all, because what happens is that we store emotions and we store experiences in the body. So when this movement comes in and touches those places, well, it's natural that the suppressed emotions could come up in those moments. So yeah, it's definitely in the feminine.
It's beautiful. And like I'm sure so many people listening have heard me say and hear it elsewhere too, but feeling is healing. Like for someone who is going to numbing, who is avoiding their feelings, who feels scared to feel their feelings, this is a really beautiful container, a good place to start. If you're struggling to name things, if you're someone that explodes every now and then, but you have to wait till the build up to explode. Like if you want to start like just checking in with your body and and releasing those things, this is a really beautiful place to start. And Danika posts stuff about breathwork. I've seen her do a few like breathwork workshops and things like that. If people want to get a hold of you and learn more from you and find out more about these breathworks that you do and the stuff about the things that you post, how can they find you?
Yeah. So at this moment, my main platform is Instagram. So my handle is I am Danika Doucet, and you can definitely find me there. I I post about just tools to self-regulate, to be in your body, to anything that helps me to feel more connected to myself. I share breath work as well, and I also work one-on-one with people who are willing, ready, and committed to feeling or experiencing a significant shift within their connection to themselves and to their bodies. So if you're someone who's felt disconnected to your body, who has felt disconnected to your emotions, who felt disconnected to your own intuition, or maybe you have a difficult time expressing yourself, I would love to work with you, and because I'm just so passionate about like seeing you step into your own power and reclaiming all of those parts of yourself, and merging, like inviting your feminine to come out and having your masculine be strong and containing, and live your life with more alignment.
Yeah.
So Instagram is where you can reach me. You can DM me. I work with people over Zoom or in person if you are by any chance in New Brunswick, Canada. And I'm also offering some workshops and group work that's coming in the near future. I do have a workshop that will be launching very soon, and this is all about embodiment of the feminine and getting even deeper within the stuff that we touched on today. And also obviously including some somatic practices. So all of my work that I do, it's really with the idea that you can't fix things with your mind, but you need to go in your body.
Yeah.
I work with movement, with breath work, with sound, and also just incorporating all of these tools that I'm learning from the embodiment coaching program that I'm in at the moment. So
Beautiful. Oh, see, you guys get it. You get why I brought her on here, right? You get it. And I will also make a point of sharing the course that's coming up soon. I'll make a point of sharing that on my page for you guys. Anybody listening who wants to jump on, and yes, you get some exclusive info here, guys. So jump on it. You're gonna know before it's even out. So you're getting all the goodies, and like I'm sure we could have got Danika on here to go into much more detail, but that's what her course is for. So we've dropped some nuggets today. We've given you little bits of juicy info, but if you feel like you've connecting with her and you're really loving kind of her energy, and how could you not go on, check her out, give her a good creep. I still creep her, and like, although she's a friend, I still give her a good stalk, and like, it's just what you do. I think I say that every time I interview someone about creeping and stalking them. It's just
I love it. I wanted to add also for this workshop, since we talked about a lot of stuff today, and I really value you, and I think that for anyone listening, I want to offer a little discount for that workshop. So once it comes out, I will hand you the code for that, Amy. And then
Awesome.
anyone who's listened to this episode, you have access to it.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you. Yeah. So, hey guys, look, you're even not only you getting some exclusive info, you're getting exclusive deals. So, like, come on,
Yes.
come on, like, hello. But and thank you for your generosity. I think that's beautiful. Thank you. I'll even want to check out a bit more of it. Somatic work and getting in your body is an area that's I feel the where I'm going. I'm a few steps behind you, and there's still a lot I got to learn. And I also want to learn it from people who light me up and people that I enjoy. So I'm excited to see more of your journey and where you go and learn from you, learn with you, maybe even teach with you. Who knows what the world will have for us, but this is definitely not the end of our adventure. And if you guys want to know a bit more about these energetic states, Danika and I were talking off camera about kind of how your inner child can link with the feminine, and that in itself, there's so much info there. So that's definitely its own episode. So if you guys want to know more about that, let me know. We can invite this beautiful human to come back and do more info on that. Or if there's anything else within the masculine and feminine energetic states in that world that you would love to know a bit more about, let us know. We can always pop back. Or even if you want to know a bit more about breathwork, if you just want to do a whole 15-minute session or whatever, like ask. You never know. I might be able to convince her to do something. So does that mean?
I mean, I'm always down. I'm always down to talk about the nervous system and how to regulate the nervous system. And like you said, the inner child, like I'm all about playing. So, yeah, if this is something that's interesting to you listening today, definitely let us know because I would love to chat more about all of these subjects.
It's beautiful. Oh man, before I let you go, I know we've covered quite a few things today, but is there any key things that from today that you want to remind listeners to try to bring into their everyday life? Something small, like you say, it's you taking that few steps.
Yeah.
What would you like to remind them? Or
the biggest thing and the hardest thing I find is slowing down. Yeah. If we can just slow down a little bit, that allows space for us to become more in tune with our senses.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think I say this in my episode with Shauna too, like to be your best, to be as productive as you can be, to add the most value and be the best you and put your best foot forward. You need to slow down. You need to put that time into you. And I think I said in that episode too, you like if a plane is crashing and the air masks, the oxygen masks come down, you got to put your mask on before you put somebody else's on. Like you've got to just take that moment to be aware, to slow, to know what is, discern between what is and what isn't, and feel, to then know what you need to do to go forward. So yeah, I love that. Slowing down. God, we could even do a whole episode on that. I think one of my very early episodes was about slowing down and slow being the new fast and stuff, but we could do a 2.0 in that episode for sure. If you want to know more about that, let me know. Like these podcasts, as much as they are for me, and I created them for younger me, they're for you guys too. Like if there's certain things you want to know more about, let me know, and we can certainly share some nuggets with you. But yeah, it's been beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing stuff. I'm like, I just want to sit in your presence. Like I don't even want to end the episode because I'm like, this just feels so good. Oh,
right.
But hey, and if any of you feel like how I'm feeling, get on over to her Instagram, get on following her. Like make sure you don't miss these courses when they come out, and we've got a discount code, so keep your eye out. It's just been beautiful to have you here. Like honestly, I do these interviews and I have had goosebumps literally throughout this whole session because you just radiate through, like it's just beautiful. Like I can only imagine what it feels like sitting with you in person. But thank you so much for coming on, and you've been a gift to me, so I'm sure the listeners will enjoy listening to you too.
Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you so much for having me and for just being you.
Thanks, girl. Well, until next time, guys, everybody be safe. It's all about just being aware, slowing down, and taking in that moment. Remember, nature made this thing. Whatever you're touching, looking at, nature did it.
Nature did
So
it.
slow down, literally smell the roses or look at the shells. Pick your
Do what you
thing.
love. Do what you love. Yeah,
Yeah. And
find
let us
pleasure.
know.
Yeah.
Let us know how it went, how you felt, and something to share with your friends. Invite them to try to do it with you and explore and play. And until next time, be safe and we will see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast this week. I really look forward to hearing what you got from this episode, what you did with regards to your homework this week, and if there was any light bulb moments you had. So please, please, please make sure to let me know what you thought and what those moments were down below in the comment box. And make sure to subscribe to make sure you do not miss any new episodes. And if you want to be a part of the Rewrite Your Story community, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And you can follow us at rewriteyourstory.ca on Instagram, Facebook, and our website.